Hey everybody, here comes the fun part, y'all. We've got this Tartarus thumb module, side module, faceplate, and we need to fit this guy in there. So now we get to cut this guy up. We're going to be cutting out a circle of plastic from this section here. If you're DIYing this, this piece is a cutting template that I designed, and it's available on the Shapeways store. It's the same diameter as the base of this cup, but it's somewhat transparent, so I find that it helps when you are drawing your circle here for your cutting guide. It's not necessary to have. I think that it's a handy tool, but it's completely optional. I mean, you could just hold the base of the cup there and draw it, but I feel like that this is easier to handle. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing is drawing a cutting guide around the outside of the circle, and then using a rotary tool to cut rough, and then using a sanding drum to clean up the edges. You need to go slow and take your time and be very careful for several reasons. One, your cosmetic outcome, the way it looks, is just going to be a lot better if you go slow. Two, there's stuff on the bottom here that you want to preserve as much as possible. We're going to lose some of these screw legs here and some of these posts. Not all of them, but some of them, and that's fine. But also, the lip. That lip is only like 1 millimeter, or maybe it's 2 millimeters wide. So if you cut too much, the cup is not going to seat down and be secure. It's gonna float. You don't want that. So just take your time and be careful. If you don't have a rotary tool, you can get away with using one of those very small, flexible bladed hacksaws. I know there's a better name for them. I don't know. I got one from my hardware store for like $8, and they're small, about that wide, and the blades are very thin and flexible, so you can do turns. And then I would take sandpaper and just clean everything up, or maybe a very sharp knife and shave it. But you can do this by hand. I think that it's easier with a rotary tool. If you don't have one of these, you can get cheap ones from like Harbor Freight or Walmart. You don't have to have a Dremel. This was actually given to me, so I got a little bit lucky there with a proper brand. But anyways, there's several different ways to do this. I find this to be the easiest. And then I want to get into it because I think this is going to be a longer one. I may have to edit the video and accelerate the cutting sequence because, or maybe even mute it. I think it's going to be loud, but we'll see. I'm going to be sitting down. Not that you can tell a difference there, but I won't be doing this through the preview window of the camera because I really want to be careful here. So if it's off-centered while I'm doing that, please forgive me. I'm going to try to keep it right here in the center of the box while I'm doing the work, but no promises. This is not for me. This is for somebody else, so I want to be right up and close on it and make sure that it's done well. So forgive me if it's off center in the picture. So I'm just going to get, let's see. We're going to start by using this pencil to trace around here. Go, sitting down. So I get my elbows in here. So what you want to do is hold the template secure once you get it centered, and then just draw, hold it tight because you don't want it to move while you're doing this. Hold it tight. Draw around it as much as you can. So now, that's how much material that you're going to cut. When you're cutting this, keep in mind that you want to cut up to it and not on top of it. Cut up to it or even stop just before it. And then do several fittings of the cup. And then use, while you're using the sanding drum or sandpaper, to fine tune the circle. Anyways, we don't need this anymore. Off to the side with you. Nor do we need the pencil. I'm going to go ahead and put everything else off to the side. This is messy and loud. This is why we're inside of a box today. Sorry I said that. We're inside of a cardboard box because this is messy. And I'm trying to avoid getting plastic shavings everywhere. You want to do that. And this arrow is up. So on Razer devices, this guy sits right here and you are pushing your thumb that way to go forward or up. So just keep track of where that's at. It's not exactly square to the right. It's kind of northeast, a little bit more east than north. But if you look on the back side, that matches up with this leg here. And this leg gets to stay. So when you orient your device in there, see I've drawn a little line on the bottom of the cup that you don't see that is up, that's forward. So that's where you want to orient that. Just keep in mind. Just little things to keep track of. So here we go. We're going to do this. Right. I start slow, obviously. And then just start from the middle and work your way around. Go in a straight line and try to work your way around. And you're not trying to bring this all the way up to the line. You're trying to get it mostly to cut a circle so you can fit the sanding drum in there, because that's your fine tuning tool. So we're just gonna cut this. I'm gonna go from the side like this because that's how I can see it. You need to do it how you want to do it. So I'm going to show you guys like this. I'm going to stop this to talk if I need to talk, because I'm not going to try to talk over this. I have no idea how the camera is handling this noise. I need to secure that better. The bit got bound in the plastic. There is a proper tool to use for this, but I don't have it anymore. This is an older Dremel, so I gotta tighten that a little bit. So I've cut 2 quadrants out, and you can see I'm getting close, but not all the way to it. I'm going to use the sanding drum to kind of finish that off. I'm just looking on the bottom, so a lot of this is going to be lost. I'm going to try to save as many of these posts as I can, but there's no, this is a somewhat destructive mod, so we don't know. Don't know how that's going to work out yet. There. So now I can fit see how messy this is? You just need to keep this inside of something. So now I can fit this sanding drum in there. I can be much more precise with this. What you want. All right. You should unplug this before you try to mess with and change the bit, but I'm not gonna do that. If I cut myself on camera, I will leave it so you guys can see, because it'll be funny. Hubris, right? Come on, baby. Let's go. All right, here we go. Again, what I'm gonna do is just kind of work this around and get close to the line, keeping it as circular as possible. And I'm gonna try to keep it center camera. I'm gonna try, but I will be tilting it to the side because that's how I can see the line the best. All right, so I'm close. I need to get closer, but at that speed, it is melting the plastic as much as it is removing it. So you need to kind of remove some of that gnarly stuff. Clean it up so you can really see what you're doing, because now is the time to slow the bit down, because you're that. And look how close I am all the way around. You don't want to cross that line. You really don't. Okay, I'm gonna need to remove those legs. This one's gonna have to go. This one's gonna have to go, and this one's gonna have to go. We get to keep that, and that, which will be enough, and we get to keep the clips for the main body. But all the rest of the, like those three, are just gonna have to, like, this is already just coming off. Bye. Catch you later. I might get to keep that one, which would be great, but we'll see. All right, I'm really close now, and I want to remove some more of that melted, built-up stuff. Because the closer that you get, the slower you want to go, and you really just need to stop and remove this junk. And if you don't go too fast, then it's not super hot. There, that's pretty good. That's pretty good right there, right there. You can see how close we are. It's really getting there. Okay, at this point I pretty much got it. I'm going to clean up again, and then I'll go underneath with some snips and snip off things that are obviously just going to go away. So you could do that to begin with, but you really need to get as close as you are to the finished dimensions before you start cutting things off on the bottom, because you want to preserve as many of the posts and the screw legs as you can. So I think at this point I know what can go and what can stay, so I've got all that cleaned off. So I'm just going to be cutting those, and then we'll start trying to fit. So obviously this one and this one are gonna go. I think that leg can stay, which is great news. Let me get my snips. So this is gonna go. Oop, bye. And get in here carefully. And this is gonna go. So I'm gonna cut off that while leaving that. Got it. So now I'm going to try to fit it. I doubt it's going to go. But if it doesn't fit, turn it back around and look again at the line that you drew and see where you have room to get a tad bit closer, or even hold it up to a solid surface behind. Like I'm looking at the side of the box here through it and see where it doesn't look quite circular. Like if it looks slightly oval or one of the edges is more square than round, then give that some attention. But this actually looks pretty good. It just might not be overall wide enough, but we're gonna try to fit this. So teensy goes through. Oh, that's close. That's really close. All right, so I'm just gonna go. This is pretty circular. Like I don't see any soft edges, so I'm just gonna go around and give everything a nice round touch, and then I'll take my X-Acto knife and kind of scrape to clean off any lip or anything, and we'll try to fit it again. Nice and low at this point, low speed. I'm gonna get my big old knife here, my dirty knife, and just kind of scrape around the edges here to remove the lip. There's again, even at that low speed, you are melting as well as removing. That's just the nature of this. So it will push a lip up on the edge, and you just don't want that. Okay. Looking at the side of the box. That looks pretty good, guys. Let's see how lucky we are. Oh, it's really close. I can feel it. It wants to go. One of the sides goes in me see if I can see. Yeah, see, you can hold this up, which is perfectly round, and kind of see where it needs some attention. I see. All right, so there's some line on that side I need to take. Yeah, this is probably going to be a 30-minute video. All right, I see where. I get so impatient at this point because I just want it to fit so I can be done with the stress of cutting into someone's device. I think that's it. It is. Boom. Look at how neat that is. Look at how neat that is, guys. That's so beautiful. Get the cap here. And there you go. It's the thing of beauty right there. So we saved that post and this screw hole right there. Awesome. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right. So just under 30 minutes. I'm going to clean this up a little bit off camera with a knife and just make sure that it's just nice and round, but it fits. I'll probably lube. I like using lithium grease and silicone oil to just kind of lube the sides of this so it slides in nice and neat. And then the next video we'll go over securing everything and reassembly. We'll see if we can get that all in one video. And then we're close. We are close. All right. Hope this helps you. Catch you later.